Tuesday night here in our parish, Bishop Condola was here for the confirmation of about 20 of our teenagers. And this weekend, at the Mass last night, the 5 o'clock Saturday night Mass, and then at the 1 o'clock Spanish Mass after this Mass, we have about 30 of our second graders who will be receiving their first Holy Communion. So it's a beautiful celebratory time of year and a celebratory time in the life of our parish. I don't know if you remember, those of you who maybe received Holy Communion as a little kid, as a little second grader. I don't know if you remember kind of going through that process. I remember kind of being a skeptic. I remember kind of being in class and thinking to myself, okay, my teacher just said, and I've heard the priest say, that the Eucharist is Jesus. And then I would kind of think, well, that doesn't look like a person. Like the host, it's about this big. That does not look anything like a human being. I have pictures of Jesus in my house. I've seen pictures of him. We have pictures and images of him everywhere. Well, if you're telling me that little, what looks like a piece of bread is Jesus, I don't buy it. There was one particular day, I don't know if you can get in trouble when you're in second grade First Communion formation, but I got in trouble because I was kind of insistent, like, I don't believe it. This is not true. They actually they brought in the priest to come and sort of calm me down and kind of pull me aside and say, look, stop asking so many questions. It took me a little while to grasp this concept of the Eucharist. It took me a little while to see with the eyes of faith. Because, like many of us, I wanted to see it. So you're telling me that what looks like a little piece of bread, you're telling me that that's Jesus. But it doesn't look like Jesus. It took me a little while, as maybe it has for you. Maybe you're still kind of trying to figure all that out. Well, the gospel today, I think, is very instructive. And it's very helpful for a deeper belief in the Eucharist. After the resurrection, so Jesus died, Jesus rose from the dead, and then he started appearing to different groups of people. And almost every time he appears, they don't recognize him. He comes into their midst, and they're not sure who it is. On the road to Emmaus, Jesus is walking along with these two, and they don't recognize him. We're told in the story of the road to Emmaus that the two men that he's walking with, they recognize him at a certain point. They recognize him in the breaking of the bread. Not until he celebrates the Mass for them do they recognize. Well, today is no different. The apostles are out fishing, a normal human activity, especially for fishermen. They're out and they're fishing. They don't catch anything all night long. So they're about 100 yards out, and on the shore, they hear a voice. And the voice says, "Cast your net to the right side of the boat." They do so, and they catch more fish than they know what to do with. You could see, though, that they're kind of perplexed. Like, who is this guy? Who's this guy 100 yards out? It'd be hard to kind of see someone across a football field. You might not recognize them. But it was the Apostle John. We have a beautiful statue of St. John right here in the green there holding the chalice. He was kind of the youngest of the apostles. The Gospel of John calls him the beloved disciple. Well, John hears that voice and recognizes it. Even though he couldn't see it, he heard that voice and he recognized it. So John says to Peter, right next to him here in the blue with the keys, John says to Peter, "It is the Lord." And Peter believes him. Even though he couldn't see, Peter believed John. It is the Lord. Peter believed it so much, he jumps off the boat and swims to shore to be close to the Lord. He can't see it, but he can hear it. It is the Lord. I think this is very instructive for us, perhaps if we struggle with coming to understand what happens in the course of the Mass. That, are you really telling me that when I come up and receive Holy Communion, or when I come to adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, when I'm in the presence, when I'm in the church and the tabernacle is there, are you telling me that Jesus Christ is here? And we're saying yes, absolutely 100%. Jesus Christ is here. That through the power of the Holy Spirit in the Mass, the ordinary bread and ordinary wine are transformed into the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. It's a miracle. It's amazing. But we can't see it with our own eyes. If during the Mass, when the priest calls down the Holy Spirit, when the priest holds up the host, I guess it would be a lot easier for us if there was sort of like a big lightning strike, if something sort of dramatic happened up here that would make you say, oh yeah, okay, now I get it, now I see it. But we can't see it. We got to see with the eyes of faith. And so it's so beautiful throughout the course of this weekend watching these little kids, watching these second graders. Can they explain Eucharistic theology in all of its depth? No. But there is a wonderful and deep faith within them that says, it is the Lord. I don't get it. I'm not sure how it all comes about. But I know, I trust my teachers. I trust my parents. I trust my priests. I trust the Pope. I trust the teachings of the church. It is the Lord. So I don't know if you're struggling with it. Maybe you're kind of coming to church for the first time in a while. Maybe you've never been to church. You're here this morning. What we believe about the Eucharist is that it becomes, it changes. The bread and the wine cease to be bread and wine. They become the body and blood of Christ. Our eyes fail us, but our hearing does not. It is the Lord. So as you come forward and receive Holy Communion today, or as you come into the presence of the Lord in prayer today, I hope that you will trust those words of St. John to St. Peter. It is the Lord. It is the Lord. The Lord who loves us. The Lord who created us. It is that same Lord who then feeds us. What was Jesus' command to Peter? Feed my sheep. Tend my lambs. Jesus does that to us, feeding us not with bread and wine, but with his very self. It is the Lord.